session is session number 20. We're in the ICF room. If you are in the incorrect room, please go up to the blue box on the left part of your screen and go to the correct room. We would like to welcome Stacy Collins, Kathy Ramey, and Tiffany Martin from Ohio DODD today. I've launched a poll so that you can select the correct CEUs that you're looking for today. If you do not attend in person, you may not request CEUs. At the end of the session, I'll launch another poll to close out the CEUs. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I will make sure that the speakers see them. And I thank you very much for attending today, and you may proceed with the session. Thank you.
Melissa, thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here with you all this morning. My name is Stacy Collins, and I'm with the Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities within our Division of Policy and Strategic Direction. I'm particularly honored as well to be here with both Tiffany Martin and Kathy Ramey from Goodwill Columbus. And the majority of the presentation today will be them talking about their efforts on helping individuals connect to services within the community. And so again, to be able to start this presentation off for you today, it's truly an honor, but I'm only going to be touching on a few things briefly just to kind of set the stage for what Tiffany and Kathy are going to be talking about and giving you examples about today. So within the Department of Developmental Disabilities, I lead our community life engagement team, which is our team that is responsible for the implementation of both the Employment First initiative and the Technology First initiative. And so I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about that team, our purpose, and the work that we've been doing with providers across the state, Goodwill Columbus being one of them, around really providing individualized community-based services. So within this, our team and our initiatives, the goal is really that we support every person with no matter the talent, every talent, to have every opportunity to utilize technology within their daily lives, as well as to explore the world of work. Within this team, and Tiffany, you can go to the next slide, we really want to make sure that within this, we are supporting individuals around employment services and technology services. And so I apologize that I didn't put technology in here, but that it really is that we consider technology and employment and how we're supporting people as kind of the first option for services, really regardless of their level of disability. It doesn't mean that everyone needs to use technology or that everyone needs to be employed, but we do want to make sure that everyone is having the conversations about the benefits of employment and technology in their daily lives. So just wanted to stress that we really at the department have been working to merge both technology and employment together to help individuals on a daily basis. You can go to the next slide. So within our team, what we are doing in merging technology first and employment first is really making sure that individuals with developmental disabilities in Ohio who are eligible for services have increased opportunities to live, work, and thrive in their homes and communities using that state-of-the-art technology, state-of-the-art planning, innovative technology, and supports that focus on their talents, their interests, and their skills. Within this mission, what we are trying to do is making sure that Ohioans of all abilities work and thrive together to create stronger communities. Within our team, we do have several priorities in what we're attempting to do to bring technology, employment together, again, to serve individuals to live, work, and play. The items that we're going to be talking about today really center around empowerment and collaboration, training, and technical assistance. But also within our team, we work to align goals and policies, technology and innovation, business engagement, and also measuring our success in Ohio and really evaluating data. You can go to the next slide. So prior to jumping into Tiffany and Kathy, I wanted to review our work around kind of looking at what's going on at the federal level, as well as looking around our provider capacity work at the department. So in regards to the federal perspective and what's happening, I'm not going to go through all of these for you just because of the time that we have this morning, but I wanted to highlight three newer things that are happening at the federal level, because this does impact our service delivery across Ohio. it does impact, in particular, our Adult Day and Employment Services arena. The three of those are the Transformation to Competitive Employment Act, the U.S. Civil Rights Commission report, as well as the National Council on Disability report. The first one, that Transformation to Competitive Employment Act, is an act that's coming from Senator Casey in Pennsylvania, has been there, out there for a while, but has not made a lot of progress at this point. But basically what it is it's asking for funding to go to states across in the United States to help build provider capacity to deliver more individualized, community-based services that do prioritize competitive integrated employment. The second, which is that U.S. Civil Rights Commission report, is a most recent report coming out of the U.S. Civil Rights Commission, indicating and making a request for the gradual phase out of sub-minimum wage employment under the Fair Labor Standards Act called 14C. This report recently was out really within the last 60 days. And then the National Council on Disability report came out in the last 30 days and is requesting the phase out of the Ability One contracts. And so Ability One at the federal level is a federal contract that does prioritize the hiring of individuals with disabilities. And the request from the National Council on Disability is that it is actually a discriminatory practice that needs to be gradually phased out because it does not support individuals to get jobs in competitive integrated employment and is actually in a segregated environment. The report itself does include a lot more information, but for those of you on the phone, if you are interested, I think it's important for you guys to check that information out because again, it does impact us. It would if as things progress, if the items do move forward. So next slide. This really, the next piece is really sharing with you Ohio's progress towards capacity building. One of the things that we've been working on since 2012 is how do we work across Ohio to really support individuals for more individualized, again, community-based services that do focus on their interests, talents, and their skills. And so we have been putting a lot of resources and effort into this capacity building to support providers to really make that shift in service delivery. So I'm going to focus next on kind of what we've been doing in Ohio regarding capacity building. So again, what it's geared towards is really working with providers to build that capacity for individualized community-based services. The target is to increase those community-based services for both work and non-work services. And our goal has been to connect providers with local as well as national subject matter experts to go through kind of an assessment, a plan, and then implementation within their organization on who's the individuals they support, what's their mission, vision as an organization, and then what are the steps that they're going to take to really structure their service delivery differently. So within our work around provider capacity, we've had multiple projects that we've been able to do over the last several years. In Ohio, we know with our Adult Day and Employment Services system, prior to COVID, we had over 700 agencies that were delivering these services across the state. And so in order to truly make the biggest impact, we would have to do kind of individualized work that we then could scale up and share at a statewide level. And so we have focused multiple projects on this transformation, and they've been called multiple different names. But Provider Transformation was one of them, Provider Transformation 2.0. We've done work called Integrated Community Supports Project. We've done an ICF support project, Innovative Business Strategies project, and then Building Innovative Service Models project. Goodwill, we've been lucky to be able to work with them through several of these projects. And in total, over 45 agencies have received grants from DODD to participate in this work. I know Kathy and Tiffany are going to talk specifically about the work that they've done at Goodwill. We do have current projects underway as well that I wanted to share with you, 3 in total. One is the Building Innovative Service Models that actual grants were just awarded, and the project will go until the end of June of 2021. We have the Employer Transformation Project, and then Innovative Technology Solutions. So there's 3 more that we have going on that we look forward to sharing with you over the next coming months on how that work's going. Also, I just wanted to add, in taking this work state level, we do each year hold a provider transformation summit so that the agencies who have participated in these projects are able to share statewide about the work that they've been doing, again, so others can follow the model that they are creating. So again, really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you all this morning and to be with Kathy and Tiffany. And I think I'm passing it over to Kathy next.
All right, thank you, Stacy. Hopefully I'm off mute and everyone can hear me. So as Stacy said, we have been really fortunate to be the recipient of some of the grants to help us move forward into a more person-centered, community integrated approach to what we do at Goodwill Columbus. Tiffany and I have worked very closely on a lot of those since about 2015. Just want you to know that Goodwill does more than just retail, even though that is one of the big things that we're known for is thrift. But we also have a very large mission services programs. We have typically worked pretty much in silos. We have workforce development that does anything from helping people to write resumes, conducting job search, coaching, interviewing techniques, training, to job follow through. And they serve well over 1,000 people every year. We have our work and community services, which Tiffany will talk a lot more on in a little bit, and they serve about 150 to 160 individuals and have been for many years. Our adult day services is what I will talk to today, and we have served at one point up to 375 people in center-based services. Right now, before we suspended services for COVID, we were at about 260, and we are back up to a little bit over 100 right now. So excited about that. We have social recreation and education, which is sort of like a social club for people that may have waivers, may not have waivers, do private pay. They do activities, vacation, a lot of education activities too. And then we have a supported living program in Franklin County that serves right around 100 individuals with disabilities. All in all, Goodwill supports over 600 people in our mission services, and we also employ over 1,000 people throughout all of our services. We have janitorial and contracts also that employs people with disabilities. So we came together as mission services last year and thought the best way to serve people is really just basically to put the person in the center and break down our silos and figure out how we could do that best. So the first step in that was to create a vision that we could all agree to, which is it sounds like it's an easy task, but it was not an easy task. There's a lot of words here. There was a lot of talking about all the words. But I think the main words here that we all could agree on is to help people learn, grow, and advance. And some of the really important words to us were to live a best life, to be holistic, and especially to be intentional. And I know for the adult day services, I'll talk a little bit later, but our word for 2021 is intentional community relationships and employment exploration. Okay, Tiffany. So how do we get there? Easier said than done, definitely. But, I go back to 2015 when we got the transformation grant and started working on it, and everyone said it's like an elephant, you eat one bite at a time. And that's really true, but it's also just one day at a time, and each year figuring out how you're going to get closer to that goal. It's a long process. It's a marathon. So how do we create person-centered services? So we knocked out number one, the shared vision. We decided that we really needed to have intake and recruitment be one front door, where we give someone a menu of services and basically sit with each person entering that door and say, what do you want for your life? What do you see in 5, 10, 20 years for your life? Here's what we do, and how could we help you get there? And if we can't, how can we find someone else that can help you get there? And what part of it can we help? We reorganized. We originally had several adult day services running. We had young adult services, which was for individuals 18 to 44. It was started by parents who did not want their children in the workforce. They wanted them to go on community outings and to be within four walls where they were safe and well taken care of. So that was, they went to the county and they came up with a young adult services program, very successful program for many years. We have an art studio, which not only helps people create art, but also to understand more about art and learn about that and to sell their artwork, exhibit it and sell it throughout Franklin County. We've had a SAGE program for over 30 years. They serve adults who are 45 and over. And originally we did 14C work and were looked at as a retirement program. We phased out 14C. Some of those individuals continued to work and they went over with Tiffany. And then we started, as I said, in 2016 with a community experience group from that project transformation. Out of that came a group, and we started with about 8 individuals and 2 staff, picking them up at their home, taking them in the community, and then taking them back home, not going to a center during the day. And I'll talk about how we've expanded that. But we reorganized last year. We made that all one service, adult day services, for many reasons. One, to offer the most we could to any individual coming in. You know, it gets to also, you know, the funding part of it. And, you know, people in the art studio would say, we want the person 5 days a week because we get the funding. And Sage would say, we want them so we get the funding. But really what we need to do is just look at the person and what they want and not make it about funding and make it about one service for that we can provide many things for one person. We had to financially model to support those services. Basically what I said, we had to really look at our policies and procedures and make sure they supported people that were helping individuals in the community and to gain employment, really support people out in the community. And we had to look at our training to identify what people needed. We started with a 6-week class that everyone took. And then we decided that really what staff need is support while they're out doing the work and modeling how to help people learn naturally in the community. So we're going to that sort of more of that type of model. Okay, Tiffany. So community integrated services, we grew in 2016. We went from, in 2019, sorry. We went from serving in 2018, 30 people a day to 120 in 2019. No small task. We had to buy vans to support those people, train staff, and then follow them in the community. We also offer a center and community mix. If someone wants to go to the art studio one day and they want to be out in the community one day, and they may want to be back with their peers in SAGE for a day or working over at WCS, we are able to offer that mix now that we have broken down some of our silos and become more person-centered. We also offer hubs. So some of our larger groups, like SAGE was at one point over 300 people in one site. We have been able to take people and put them in smaller groups out closer to their community so they're not in one large center. And that has been very successful. People enjoy being closer to home and they're able to explore their community better. So we're going to play a short video that was done early in young adult services, just so you can kind of understand how people feel about getting those type of services. And hopefully the video plays.
People have underestimated me with the way that I learn differently, and they just think that, no, she can't do this or that.
Sonia is right. Adults with developmental disabilities are often underestimated, spending their days in programming that offers minimal interaction in the community. It was to keep them safe, people thought, but that isn't always the case.
What we did on a daily basis became predictable. I wanted a challenge because it got me out of the classroom and out in the community, showing them what I can really do.
A year ago, Sonia spread her wings and joined a group of her peers in a pilot program that would give her the challenge she desired.
I was a little worried that I couldn't handle it, and I was a little bit nervous. It was a pretty quick, smooth transition for me.
The community experience gives people like Sonia the opportunity to live up to their fullest potential.
What I like about the community experience program is less supervision. I want to feel like I can be trusted to do whatever it is I need to do. What I think the word independence means is you being able to do stuff on your own. And doing this and that is really gonna hopefully pay off to get a good job and then to move out of my mom's house.
Through the community experience, Sonia and her peers spend most of their days at different nonprofit sites where they gain valuable work skills and life experiences, all while making a huge difference for people right here in our community.
My favorite place would be the Y. We wash and dry the towels and wipe down exercise machines. They tell us they think we are doing a really good job all the time.
In the process of gaining skills and confidence, Sonia and the other participants are building meaningful relationships that will last a lifetime.
We always are laughing and while we're working, even just when we're like riding in the car together, getting picked up by Chevelle. They've become extended family.
Sonia and her friends are not only making our community a better place through their hard work, they're also changing perceptions of what people with developmental disabilities can accomplish when given the opportunity.
It's changing the perceptions by leading by example, letting them know when they see us coming that we don't stick out like sore thumbs anymore. We don't even have the Goodwill logo on our van. We have proven to them we know what we're doing and that we have just as much right to be here in the community doing the same work that they can do, and we're good at it.
So I think she said it way better than I can say that, of what a difference it made. We also, a couple of examples is last year when we flipped and took out 120 people, we did start taking people out that had higher mobility needs and higher hygiene needs and higher behavior support type of needs. We're fortunate that we have 4 centers throughout Franklin County that we can hub at when needed, but we also really learned what facilities are out in the community that are helpful during that. And I had the opportunity to sub in for a group one day suddenly when the specialist had to go home. And Kate, who is someone that we serve with high physical needs, said, "This is the first day I've been in a center for months." And I said, "That's interesting, Kate. How do you feel about it?" And she said, "I don't like it at all. I love being out. I love exploring, and I like learning." And so that kind of says it all about what the feedback is that I get consistently. Charlotte is another one that we've had really great success with connecting in our community. And you may know Charlotte from Charlottesville and have seen her on television programs or through her artwork. But her art has touched many people in the community. She has taught this past year, taught virtual online classes to a group of junior high school students in Columbus. It was to be in person, but with COVID, it became virtual. And I think that we underestimate the ability of peer-to-peer teaching. I think that is happening a lot through the community experience. And I'll talk about that in a minute too. And then of course, Tiffany will talk about transitioning from 14C to employment, and another one of our successes in breaking down silos, Anastasia. So identifying the what and the why. I think it's one thing to say we're in the community, that's where we are, but what is really important about that is why we're there. Because anyone can be in the community, but there needs to be a good why behind that. So that is our goal for 2021, is to really question ourselves on the activities we're doing and the presence that we have in the community, to be more intentional and to really focus on learning, growing, and advancing for each person that utilizes our services. And successes always come with lots of opportunities, of course, and I'm quite the Pollyanna sometimes, but there are a lot of opportunities and a lot of barriers to break while doing this, just the non-medical transportation and the rules. We have a lot of staff that aren't able to get the DOT certification, so working through that and figuring out what is the best way to serve people. We did get GPS in our vans last year, so when you go down to talk about resistance with families, it's very difficult for them to think about. They don't know where people are all day. They may not understand why they're doing what they're doing. So we have a lot of opportunity with that to build on our communication as to the why, and also to help people feel more comfortable with people not being within four walls all day. Our GPS can actually track where someone is at the moment. So it can be just sort of a security blanket for staff and for parents. I can't tell you how many vans we've had to look at to make sure they meet the needs well. And I can't stress the importance of that, of looking at everything that's out there and modifications that are out there for each group. Staffing can be a bit of a challenge. It's different when you're working in a center and somebody calls off, but if you're picking people up and dropping them off and people are depending on you and a site is depending on you to volunteer, you have to make sure that you have the staff. So it's caused us to look a lot differently at staff, to look at our job descriptions, and to look at the salaries that we offer staff. There are some mental health systematic issues and criminal background type of issues. We have participated in some volunteer sites where the individuals had to pass a background check. So this can be it can be stressful. It can be hard for the system to work with that. If you have someone that needs a one-on-one or a one-on-two for support, it can financially be stressful. So still working through some of those type of issues to make sure we can serve every individual the best we can. And then lastly, resistance, which I think is probably one of the easier things to tackle, because I think if you continually drive back the why, I do think people come around and see that. And I think the longer we're doing it and the safer we are, people can see that too. And there's hope for that. So these are some of the sites that we have utilized over the past couple of years, some of the things that we're doing to think about for where you want to be. And you can move on, Tiffany. So it really gets back to the basics about self-actualization and Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I think what we found the most over the last year or two is that even more than stressing this for the individuals we serve, this is something we really need to work with our employees. Because if you're asking a person to take out 4 people and help them realize their potential, you have to make sure that your staff are really supported and well equipped to think this way. You have to make sure that their needs are met and that they have support so that they can help someone else reach their goals. And I think that's just can't be stressed enough, that staff have to feel comfortable and supported and capable. And lastly about that, just when I said about people teaching other people, it's that the hive mentality, which I've read good and bad about, but I will stress the good that I've read about it, is that the bees from the hive go out and collect everything good to bring back to the hive so the hive flourishes. And kind of operating on that idea is bring everything back so people can flourish in the center, in the community, teaching each other peer-to-peer as much as you can, and utilizing all the natural resources you can to teach. Lastly, we still are serving people through COVID-19. I wanted to share with you, our staff have been so creative. We are doing step services in home, we're doing step services in the community, we're doing virtual online learning opportunities for everyone. We've done some really great classes. I know Tiffany's going to delve into that even more. But this one I wanted to share with you. The art studio is fortunately a big glassed-in gallery on Edge Hill Road in Grandview that I encourage you to come see. They did a Pictionary game with different groups at different times would come up and they played Pictionary with the art studio. So a great way to interact, even though they were social distancing. And we did an amazing race all week that filtered into that Tiffany's groups and our groups did. So remaining creative and still providing good, safe services during COVID. So I'm going to turn it over to Tiffany to talk about work and community services and the transitions they have gone through. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. We can't see you, but we know you're out there. So my name is Tiffany Martin, and I'm Director of the Work and Community Services Program for Goodwill. We provide both vocational rehabilitation and adult day have services. So we received an innovative services strategy grant through DODD, and I'll kind of talk a little bit about what we did with that grant and the work that we did. So we are a shelter workshop in Groveport, Ohio. We serve typically pre-COVID around 175 people a year, 2 shifts, Monday through Friday. We do specialize in high behavioral challenges and dual diagnosed mental health. With the individuals we serve, about 30% of our individuals do still live in the developmental center here in Columbus. And we had a plan to end 14C certificate. That was our big goal that we wanted to accomplish, and we did end 14C in March of this year. So when we started the grant and through the grant process, we identified these 4 areas of improvement. We wanted to learn specific strategies on how to support people with dual diagnosis into getting jobs and in the community differently than we were providing services. We wanted to obtain assistance to transition from county board funding to Medicaid funding. We wanted to look for a different foundation for community employment programs. The organization defines this as looking at a variety of support employment philosophies and methodologies to determine the best fit for the people that we serve here at WCS. And we wanted to make the transition from 14C work to minimum wage work. So we developed a business plan, among other things, but our main focus was that work looks different for everybody. We wanted to ensure to be person-centered and provide services based on the person's preferences and choices rather than our provider's judgment. People's preferences help to determine the type of job that is sought and the nature of support provided by the employment specialist and team. Choice-focused programming, which is individuals with disabilities should have control over their own day and include which job, educational, or leisure activities that they wanted to pursue. So we had a main shift in how we did services and how we perceived people coming into our program. Typically in the past, come in, you needed to train for so much time, and then, you may or may not go out to get a job. A lot of people got stuck, we know, doing 14C work. So we changed our perspective and decided that anybody coming into our building was ready to work. And we needed to work on those skills and try to get people out into community employment as quick as possible. And then, of course, COVID happened. So, which allowed us to do a lot more training, a lot more development of program, but that is still our perspective. So under the vocab, we created a different kind of pod system to show progression with individuals to show that people were making successes and not in the same group and not it being staff dependent on what group they were in. We created mobile work crews. We had mobile work crews both shifts and still do. Actually, we're running them as well. And we integrated work pods so that a lot of different people, different skill sets could be in one work pod working toward different skills. We also have Locust Point Waffle Company is a partnership that we went into. Locust Point Waffle Company came into our facility and is renting our commercial kitchen. It is a business that does every bit of their business here. So that everywhere from labeling, production, shipping, they do it all here. It's a gluten-free waffle company. And so our individuals work and are trained in their facility with the perspective of those who want to work in kitchens or restaurants or other production facilities here in Central Ohio. And we increased our minimum wage jobs and we abolished 14C. So here are all the jobs that we currently are providing inside and outside of our facility, where you can still be in the program and kind of work on those job skills to get ready for individual employment. So we have White Castle data entry. We have our mobile work crews in our stores and in our warehouse. We have some fulfillment jobs. We have retail sorting and production. We have special projects. Not very many people know that actually Halloween is Goodwill's best month for sales. And so we hold all Halloween stuff back and we try to sell that in the month of October. So if you need a Halloween costume, that's one of the best places to go. And Locust Point Waffle Company. And upon COVID coming in, we never shut down completely. Our waffle company was still open. However, about 2 weeks in, we started creating 2 shifts of producing community face coverings because we were at such a deficit and a need internally for masks. It's everybody, I'm sure, was as well at the beginning. And so we started producing those face coverings for 2 shifts, paying minimum wage. We were able to teach our individuals a lot of different skills. Most of our individuals had never used a sewing machine. And thank goodness I had some internal expertise working with those individuals who knew how to sew, so thank goodness. But we started producing those, and now we're not only providing everything that we need internal as far as face coverings, but we are able to donate to other providers who are in high needs here in Columbus. We also have a Goodwill janitorial program that our individuals are funneled into, are taught those skills, shadow, and then can be hired on as well. We created a core curriculum. It's a 2-year curriculum for individuals around these 6 areas, which should look familiar. Person-centered planning, greater independence, community membership, relationship building, self-direction, and self-advocacy. So we have a core curriculum that we use with everybody we serve here at WCS and work through all these skill building sets. We also taught our staff how to teach. So we worked with an explicit teaching model, which is I do, we do, you do. So I do, so that's kind of like teacher talk, thinking aloud, demonstrating, showing somebody how to do something, engaging everyone, establishing the structure lesson for the day. That was kind of step 1. We do is things that we do together. We practice together. I show you how to do it. We do it side by side. We provide feedback, use hands-on kind of materials. And the you do, which is independent practice. So the staff just monitor, take notes, and modify, and help increase repetition of work that we want to see. Part of our transformation, we did bring over a job coach from our workforce development department to help ensure that we were guiding people along the correct path and could more seamlessly go from our kind of program to workforce development. We also have a mental health agency, Centero, that provides mental health services. And we kind of changed, we went to a psychosocial education class where everyone learns how to have coping skills in the workplace, and how to deal with your peers and your staff and your supervisor and your family. So this is kind of one of the coping skills that we do, emotional regulation, that we teach over and over and over about, when you're getting upset, what do you first do? You press the pause button, you breathe, and then you assess how you're feeling in your body, and then you check the facts and really think about what's going on, and then you choose an opposite to an emotional reaction. So just something that we teach in a variety of ways for different learning styles. And it's very effective when you not only kind of teach it in a classroom setting, but you also teach it while you're doing work, and you teach it when you're out on your mobile work crew, and you teach it when we're having conflict doing recreation, or when there's some social issues. We also teach a variety of coping skills, and this is for staff and the individuals we train. So everybody gets trained on it, and everybody is expected to do it. We also provide individual mental health counseling, which is now telehealth for us right now for individuals who need it, and crisis management. Our counselor often goes out to the work sites and deals with situations in kind of real time when we have some frustrations. So it's very effective. So what have we done during COVID, which is, the challenge, I think, for everybody. So we're just going to kind of review a little bit what we've done. So we have been closed since March, except for Lopez Point. We did open 2 weeks later to start the face covering production crew. We've expanded programming. We did a survey prior to COVID coming in about what people wanted to learn, what kind of skill sets, and these are kind of the things that they wanted to do. They wanted to do bicycle repair and car repair, learn more about technology. We have some areas now where we focus on fine and gross motor skill development, soft skills training, which is writing a resume, those kinds of things, expanded that. We also have a mock apartment that we developed to teach living skills, and we're going to start to add more technology to that so that people can get used to technology in their homes and be able to kind of expand on some of those services in the future. We also have a sensory room, and we built a sound studio with a grant that we got, which has been very well received, and something that we're able to allow people to make music and listen back, officiate like ball games and listen to it, go in and tell their stories, things like that. So it's been very effective and been a lot of fun. Currently, we're about 35% returned to facility-based programming. We are offering some virtual services and telehealth services with our counseling as well. We have offered STEP as well services. To the next. So this is just our mask, our little mask. Some of the masks that we made, we're making children's masks, adult masks, and we're making masks to order for people that regular masks don't fit their faces for whatever reason correctly. So we're at a skill level right now where we're able to kind of make some extra large masks if needed, or extra small ones, things like that. So the online virtual services that we are providing right now is we're doing mental health counseling and check-ins and telehealth. We're doing STEP programming, which Kathy's department has been able to bring more people back in this capacity than we have. But we are able to support people at WCS who want to do STEP with providing them a tablet that hooks to satellite, or a tablet that'll hook to their own Wi-Fi if they don't have one. We're able to go in home and do setup and train them and their staff, and have very person-centered instruction where we can meet with them weekly and go through whatever vocab training they'd like. We have social opportunities through Zoom, like dance parties, educational group instruction, fitness and wellness classes. We have a Goodwill Columbus community Facebook page where we're doing mental health check-ins, cooking videos, exercise videos, Friday night day dance party at noon, training classes, being able to funnel out COVID resources, voting resources, community resources. So please take a look at our Goodwill Community Facebook page and see what's going on there. So now on to the ICF support project grant that we had received. We used to have a 23-bed large ICF on the top floor of our Edge Hill facility. We did a grant that we partnered with Creative Housing to purchase 7 homes and renovate them around Franklin County to be able to move our individuals into those homes. So we had 7 3-bedroom homes that were renovated, and then 2 individuals moved into already established homes. We, of course, transitioned everybody to HPC funding, and we transferred our staff minus our nurses, because we did have a large nursing pool, but the vast majority of our staff did transition to the homes. Our facility on Edge Hill on top floor does remain empty for the most part. We've chosen not to do anything additional with that. But that project has been very successful and has really provided a different kind of life for many that we have served. So we have another little video for you. This is Ed, who has lived in the ICF for a really, really long time. We were very concerned because he had established his own community. So it's really important to give him a home where he felt comfortable. So just a little snippet about Ed seeing his new home.
Creative Housing has been in the picture for a while. They've been renovating, they bought the house, they renovated it to make sure that it's handicap accessible, to make sure that the guys had everything that they needed. They've actually, we're still in here today, finishing up the last touches, so. We have a very short timeline to do what we do.
Awesome. It's so cute. Hi, Ed.
Hi.
How are you? Yeah, I'm Mark.
Hey,
Go in there. Ed, this is your room.
am I?
That's your room.
Am I?
Yeah.
With this?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Very nice.
Am I over?
Yeah, that's yours.
I like it.
Check
Am
it
I?
out. That's yours.
Get that? Oh, man. Oh, I got my bed.
This gives him his own room, it gives him his own schedule, flexibility. I mean, he can choose whatever he wants to have for dinner, he can choose whatever he wants to have for lunch, they could do grocery shopping by themselves.
Yay!
Look on your room.
Yeah, that's your closet.
Look in there.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That's
When I saw it come through the door, it made me very happy. He is exactly the reason why I do this.
So Ed thanks me still every day he's here for his new house, and he's been in there now for a couple years. So he still loves it, and he's developed his own community there as well. So that was a great transition for those we served in the ICF. We're going to talk a little bit about Anastasia, just to focus on somebody else that we serve. Anastasia was also a resident in our ICF and transitioned to a 3-bedroom home with 2 other ladies, friends of hers. So she was very happy about that. Because of kind of our new model, and as Kathy talked about our silos, we really try to create a day for Anastasia that she liked, because she really didn't like working 7 or 5 days a week. None of it like working 7 days a week, but 5 days a week. And so we just kind of, really work together to give her some different kind of experiences. So she actually works in Locust Point Waffle Company 1 to 2 days a week. And then she attends the community experience for a couple days, and then she's home a day. But Anastasia has just really bloomed and blossomed. And now somebody who was highly dependent on her parents really is making her own decisions, and feels empowered to make different kinds of choices. So she's dating and making plans to move in with him. They're going to get their own apartment probably in the next year or 2. So she's somebody who's just really blossomed and come into her own, and is quite a remarkable young woman. So kind of as we said in the beginning about learning and growing in advance is our focus, and what we're planning and how we're going. And as soon as we get through this COVID, and try not to look at it as a detriment, but an opportunity to do some different things and learn some different things. But that's our focus now. So I'm kind of just going to look at some questions that we have maybe come in. Kurt Lofton, which works for us, said, "Where is his Coke?" You better believe, Kurt, Ed's Coke was in the refrigerator. No worries about that. That's one of the things. He used to walk down and get Coke every day, but now he has it in his house, and he loves that, and gets to smoke on his back porch, which he loves that as well. James Fox asked, how do you find the nonprofit businesses and other opportunities for partnerships? So Kathy, do you want to take that one?
Sure. We're really fortunate. We took 2 positions and made them community connectors. So they spend quite a lot of time looking for partnerships throughout Franklin County. We also charge our managers and specialists with doing this. When they find out what people want to do, then we kind of help them know where they can find that type of information. A lot of it's internet searches, a lot of it's just making cold calls, almost like sales calls, asking people if they're willing to have our groups come in and explaining what we do. Which makes me think of something else that was extremely helpful. We made cards for individuals to have and for the specialists to have when they're out in the community that they can scan, and it takes them to a Goodwill website that talks about why we're out in the community and what we do. Because sometimes it's hard to answer those questions when you're with groups. So I can give you more information if you want to email me. It's kathy.ramey gwcols.com. And I think it's somewhere in the answers. I see it.
Also, somebody asked to share a link about more about the community experience, about any Goodwill programs. And I can't tell whether what I put in there looks correct. You can go on www.goodwillcolumbus.org or contact Kathy or I for any further information. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? You can type them in the chat for Kathy or myself or for Stacy. Shelley said smiles like Ed's are why we do this. Am I right? Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, well, I think we're going to end. I guess only 3 minutes early. Thank you, everybody, for attending this with us. And thank you, Opera, for putting on this great conference. And everybody have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to give us this wonderful presentation. I know everybody learned a lot today, and Goodwill is definitely special. Everybody, I hope you filled out the evaluation for your CEUs, and we will see you in 15 minutes. Have a great day. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.